Hello, lovelies. It's Jacqueline Hyde, and you are watching Chit Chat with Jackie, where this fat drag queen invites 5 of my brand new friends to discuss our lives and topics that affect the LGBTQ community here in the Central Island. We're brought to you today by the Nanaimo Pride Society. So before we jump right into the Let's Chat portion, I do have a few rules that I think we need to go over. I think it's really important to set these rules in place just so that we are all coming from a place of kindness and from a place of understanding and non-judgment. My first rule in everything that I do is we don't yuck other people's yums. That means that if somebody brings something up that potentially you don't necessarily agree with, we don't call them out. We don't say that's disgusting. We don't tell people how they should live their life. Second rule always, or the second rule kind of leads from that one, is we speak to our lived experiences. We can only speak for the things that we have personally experienced, and don't yuck other people's yums goes right into that. We're only speaking from how we've lived our lives or how the experiences that we've personally had. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to remain that way for our entire lives, but currently in this conversation, we speak from our lived experiences. No judgment and no canceling. This is internal within this conversation, as well as when this is posted onto the internet or into the world. These are all rules that are going to carry over for anybody who wants to make any comments in the comment section, say anything in the comment section. We don't have judgment. We don't have canceling. If you're going to leave any type of comments or if you're going to say anything here, unfortunately, it's going to be edited out or deleted. And the fourth rule, let's have fun. This is a talk show with a drag queen. So we're not taking ourselves super seriously. Let's all have fun. Let's have conversations that we would normally have in our living room. Let's just get this going. Why don't we say hi to all my brand new friends? Friends, please give us a wave. Hello. So we've got Chris, Nicole, Keshia.
Hi.
Kerri.
Hi, everybody.
And Elise.
Hi.
I'm sure that we're all going to be brand new friends by the end of this. We were chit-chatting a little bit before, but they're all going to get to know a whole heck of a lot more about each other. I just want to start off, I think I speak for everyone. I just want to acknowledge that I am currently recording this in my beautiful home here in Nanaimo, British Columbia. We are on the traditional and unceded territory of the Coast Salish people and the traditional territory of the Nanaimo people. I would like to thank the land and its traditional people for allowing us to have this beautiful discussion today. So is there anybody here who's actually not recording in Nanaimo? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Nanaimo, and people who are not in Nanaimo. Oh, we're all in Nanaimo.
I'm from Campbell River.
Are from Campbell River.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a get to know the panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a few questions. This will be kind of a fun game for us to play, just to get to know everyone, so we don't need to go around and be like, oh, Chris, who are you? So why don't we start off with, I prefer coffee over tea. Give me a thumbs up if you prefer coffee over tea. Ooh, Kerri, you prefer tea over coffee. What kind of tea do you drink?
Anything fruity, herbal.
What's your favorite?
David's tea, they have like a strawberry lemonade one. I prefer that. But I like Forever Nuts too. So,
ooh,
yeah.
We've all tried Forever Nut. I think I've done a lot of those little samples that they give. So I know I've had the strawberry lemon one.
Yeah.
That was really good. All right, I am a member of the Nanaimo Pride Society. So a member, you paid your $5 and you got to be a member of the Nanaimo Pride Society. Well, I don't blame anybody who hasn't, but next year, this coming year, why don't we all become members of the Nanaimo Pride Society? That way we get a voice in exactly what's going on here in Nanaimo, and I believe, some additional areas. maybe Campbell River.
We have a collaborative starting with the Nanaimo Pride Society, a lot of island prides north of us. We're getting together to support each other and promote each other's events and online stuff now during COVID. And we look forward to collaborating with them further when we can, real life.
So we're starting a pride co-op.
Yeah. Collaboration is the word.
Collaborations with a bunch of prides here on the island.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. I am bilingual, or I speak more than one language. Oh, we've got 3 people who speak more than one language. I'm definitely a hardly speak one language. What language do you speak, Nicole?
I speak French, English, and Kinyarwanda.
Ooh, sexy.
Thank you.
French, English, and
Kinyarwanda.
Kinyarwanda. Where's that?
From Rwanda. It's like a tiny,
Rwanda.
tiny country, Central East Africa.
Awesome. And Kerri, what languages do you speak?
English and French, not fluent French, but I used to teach it. And so drop me in a French-speaking country and I can manage pretty well.
Yeah, drop me in a French-speaking country and I pretend like I know what I'm doing. So I went to Quebec City. I had French 12, thought I was gonna rock it, realized that French 12 exists and is equal to grade 2 English. So I could hardly order coffee. And then I was so embarrassed that I never spoke French ever again. And Elise, what languages do you speak? Oh, I think I know what you speak.
I speak English and French.
Half of this panel is good Canadians and can speak 2 languages, and 3 of us are great Canadians and do our best to support those of us who don't speak French. Okay, so I love spicy food. Spicy. Oh, perfect. Why, Chris? What's wrong with spicy food? You just can't handle it?
Yeah, I can't handle it. I don't like the burn of the mouth. I've actually, now that I'm married to a chef, I've now started to really enjoy a bit more heat, and I've been getting a little adventurous when it comes to spicy. I think my problem was I tried for the hot factor, and when that just burns off your taste buds, you don't taste anything. So you should enjoy the spice and have the spice done properly.
Yeah, I married a baker and gained 100 pounds. So we made a good choice, and so did I. This is a hard one. I am a huge fan of Jackylly Hyde. Keshia's not. Why aren't you a fan of Jackylly Hyde?
It's my first time meeting you, and I didn't say no. I put my thumb up. It just took me a while because I'm on my phone.
It's all good. You can, well, you know what? 100% is a pretty good number. So I'm going to take that, even though it was a very, very pointed question. I use she, her pronouns. I use
That'll be yes for me.
I use she, her pronouns in drag more to make, so that other people feel more comfortable, or so that other people can relate to me a little bit better. When I'm out of drag, I use he, him pronouns. But realistically, I mean, you can call me whatever you want. You can call me a dog. I'll still come for it.
Woof.
Yeah, if you got the coin, I'm running. So I prefer winter holidays to summer holidays. I know it's a hard one. I prefer winter holidays. Yeah, me too. I definitely prefer summer holidays, but I prefer cooler weather. So I don't know. I prefer being away, being on a beach, as long as nobody needs to look at this whale. All right, I use he, him pronouns. And I'm gonna do this as well because I just explained. No, somewhat, yeah. I sing in the shower.
Yes.
I wish that I did, because it always seems so cool. What's your favorite song, Chris?
Oh,
Just in the shower.
I'm gonna go with Bad Romance. It always gets me going in the morning. Or Megan Thee Stallion, Body Body.
Yeah.
Body butter?
Body.
Body, yaddy, yaddy,
Just
yaddy, yaddy,
body.
yaddy, yaddy,
Is it because
yaddy,
you're
yaddy, yaddy, yaddy.
It
Sorry.
gets going in the morning. Gets the good vibes going. Gets the blood pumping. Just gets in the right mood.
I get my blood pumping differently in the morning, but that's okay. Kerri, what's your favorite song to sing in the shower?
Well, I've got Dua Lipa's Spirit of Summer, sort of summertime sounds. And it's so funny because my husband said, if you ever want to torture me, strap me down to a chair and play that music. So we're on different ends of the spectrum on that. But yeah, I pretty much sing anytime I can, shower, car, my office.
So my guess is husband not in the shower.
You know what?
Now we're getting to the taxes.
Yeah. I've never heard him sing in the shower, but I don't know.
But he's with you.
No, when he's with me in the shower, he's definitely not singing.
And you're not singing?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe I am sometimes. I probably would be exactly like an idiot in the shower too. So hey, whatever.
Nicole, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite song to sing in the shower? If you say, did you put your thumb up? I think
yes.
everybody put their thumb up except me.
I am obsessed with the whole burlesque movie. So I usually have like the whole album playing, but my favorite song from that one is Something's Got a Hold on Me. So I just sit down and have a burlesque moment.
I wish I sang in the shower because it always seems like so much fun. Elise, what do you sing in the shower? We're seriously going to go through everyone. I am obsessed with this question. I put it in here so that I could be super nosy.
I usually just make stuff up like little duty doots and little melodies over particular songs.
Songwriter sings her own songs. I see
No.
it. I see how it works.
Not my own songs. Just make little duty doots up.
Just duty doop songs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever get inspiration in the shower for a song?
Not yet.
No, nothing like it's raining and I'm so wet. No.
Not bad.
Rain on me.
Seriously, this is gold. You should be writing it down. And Keshia, what's your favorite song to sing in the shower?
Like I can be listening to some Cardi B. Next thing you know, I'm listening to some Rod Stewart, and then I'm like Goat Snake, and then Tool, and then we're like AC/DC. It depends on my mood. I sing everything. But right now I'm really big into Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
She's got some culture in her. She's got some culture. I prefer gender neutral pronouns. They, them. I prefer gender neutral pronouns. Does anybody use they, them pronouns? I think we covered he, him, and she, her. We're definitely in the age where we need to stop referring to all people as guys and where man walked the earth. It's like women walked the earth way better and then did it in heels.
But like, what if you're saying it within like a close group of friends? Me and my one good friend, mutual friend between me and Chris, she always is just like, oh, hey dude, come over here. And you know, I don't mind her calling me that. It's just, she just refers to me that way. If you're within a good, close knit group of people and you're comfortable with yourself, that's just us.
What do you think, Chris?
As an educator, I make sure we share our pronouns in school, just to set a ground rules of, if it doesn't work for you, change it. Often when I use my pronouns, I use he, him, and they, them, just so that students understand that that is a choice. You are allowed to identify however you need to feel comfortable in your skin.
I know within the gay community, we call each other she all the time. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I think of all gay men as women, but I think that it's an endearing thing when done between people who all have the same idea of what that means.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that it's appropriate for me to correct myself when I say that I think we need to stop using guys to mean everyone. I think that we need to stop using it on a larger context with individuals that we are not, that are not in our own personal bubbles or in our own personal groups, saying, like at the beginning of this video, if I said, hey guys, come on in, I think that there's a potential for individuals to feel excluded. And I think this 2021, it's not that hard. Let's start asking people how they feel and speaking up if we don't feel represented or we don't feel like what's happening is appropriate. I mean,
respect.
Yeah, we can go around and around and around. I mean, and I really want to do that. The whole point of this, the whole point of having these people here is for us to speak to our lived experiences and really, you know, share what we know and share how we feel. Doesn't mean we're all going to agree. Doesn't mean that anybody here is going to change their mind by the end and we're going to, you know, rule the world.
Shout out to the teachers that have dropped the boys and girls because I tell you, this is a battle that needs to be dealt with. It's just, it actually makes me cringe now because I hear it so often, and it's really easy to substitute it with people, folks, grade fives. You know, you can call them whatever the group name is sometimes, but yeah, that is something that we really need to, because we don't want to be the reason that some child feels not included or disrespected in a classroom, or they don't even fit into either category. And then they're like, okay, well, I guess I don't exist here.
Yeah, for those people who are not aware, Elise is a celebrated singer-songwriter here in the West Coast. When you are starting the performance, is there anything in particular? How do you address people? Do you think about it or you not? It's okay to not think about it. We're not all here to be PC.
Whenever I am performing in a live setting or a digital setting, I'll introduce myself. When I'm performing here in this territory, I will do an introduction in Halkaminam. So I'll go, Enta Quatit Delamoch Stilem Schahals, Enta Elise Boulanger, which translates into I am a singer-songwriter, I am Elise. And if I'm in another part of the world, I will try to incorporate the language. But yeah, coming from a more classical background, and the way you greet people or address them, like ladies and gentlemen, is a bit more formal. But or honorable whoever, or so I don't really, it's like an all-encompassing welcome. Whenever I am performing in a live setting or a digital setting, I'll introduce myself. When I'm performing here in this territory, I will do an introduction in Halkaminam. So I'll go, Enta Quatit Delamoch Stilem Schahals, Enta Elise Boulanger, which translates into I am a singer-songwriter, I am Elise.
Nicole, do you have any specific thing anything? Because I know that you're a jazz singer, correct?
Yeah. For me, I usually just say hi, everybody, and say we're here to do this and that. But I usually just say hi, everybody. It's inclusive.
Right. Bar dwellers. Hello, drunken people.
That might be
Thank you. I sound better. No, you're an amazing singer. Both of you have spectacular talents, very, very different, but spectacular talents. I definitely recommend you both check each other out if you haven't already. So I have one more question. I am in a relationship, or I have at least one significant other. I think that relationships are an interesting thing to discuss. Yeah, so how does everybody feel about monogamy? How does everybody feel about monogamy? No. Keshia, what's going on with you?
I feel we have, in this day and age, be more open and have a more broader approach when it comes to people who are poly, people who are non-monogamous or ethically non-monogamous. There's so many different unconventional ways of how to be in a relationship now compared to traditional relationships. If two people, want to be together for the rest of their lives and they make it work, that's great. But now you see married people who have open relationships and are able to make it work. And then there are those couples where it can create problems if they don't have that open communication. It really comes down to the two people involved and how they want to be able to invite into their relationship. Like it can go so many ways, and people can have so many different views. Some people can have their own opinions about somebody else's relationship, when I don't think that that's okay. I think it really should just come down to the people who are involved. For me personally, can I see myself being with one person for the rest of my life? Probably not, but I'm still kind of figuring myself out here, and it's been interesting.
And Kerri?
Well, I think what I would love to see is a community where monogamy is one of many options. And I think, teaching kids young, I grew up in a family where monogamy was the only option. I didn't see any alternatives. My parents stayed together far too long, and it was painful to view. So I think, my relationships have not taken a straight line. I've actually been married 3 times. I was married to my daughter's father. We were together for 10 years. I was with a person for 11 months, married together for 3 years. And I had to end that relationship because it was super unhealthy. And I've been with my current partner now this is our 13th year together. So, starting in preschool, primary, talking to kids about, some people have 2 moms and some people have 2 dads and some people have 3 grown-ups that they live with and some people have 1 grown-up they live with and some people are in care and some people live with their grandparents. It just normalizes it. So people that have more than one option, because for me, anything outside of monogamy brought a lot of shame, and I had to work through a lot of my own stuff because I've talked about open relationships. I dated 2 people at the same time before I was with my partner now, and it really worked for me. It was 2 completely separate people together. You combine them, you have like the perfect man, but like that doesn't exist, right? So I guess for me, it's like, I don't think that one person can ever meet my needs. So that's why my relationships with my girlfriends and my colleagues are so important to me too.
Yeah. When you said that you were in 2 different relationships at the same time, were they like you had 2 partners and they were not together? Or I'm just super nosy, so that's what this whole show is going to be about.
I mean, I was...
It's going to be a reason for me to get really deep and like learn a lot about people and how they live their lives.
It's just in a very experimental phase. I had just been out of sort of an unhealthy relationship and I was going to choose what I wanted to do. And it was the first time in my life that I felt super empowered, that nobody was going to tell me how to live my life. I did let these 2 people know that I was dating both of them. And then that's when the boundaries and restrictions started. Well, you have to pick, or, as soon as someone said, well, you have to pick, then I picked the other person that didn't put pressure on me to pick because I didn't want to pick. I was quite happy. I could have gone on for, I don't know, indefinitely, because they brought so much to the table. So, yeah.
And Nicole, what's your experience?
For me, like I come from, I've had the opportunity to travel quite a bit and live in different countries, and like one of the countries I spent 2 years in Cameroon. The north part of the country is predominantly Muslim, which means a lot of the families are, it's like a husband with multiple wives and lots of children. But I've also lived in Rwanda where most people are very monogamous as just husband and wife. So I've had a chance to like see both options. I feel like monogamy is definitely not for everybody, and it's important to like take time to understand your needs and where you are in terms of like your own personal development. See if am I ready to like am I in a place where one person can meet my needs, or do I need more? And so I feel like at this point in my life, it's just been where like I'm mostly self-sufficient, and I just need that person there to like
There's
help
certain
out a
needs
little
that
bit.
that person can take care of, and the rest of them are
Yeah, but who knows? At some point in my life, I might get to a place where I feel like I need more attention, or I need more connection with more people. So I'm open to the idea, but I haven't felt that need at this point.
Yeah, my situation is very similar in that it's been kind of within my relationship rule system. I believe that honesty is more important than fidelity, and that's just what works for me. I don't ever really get jealous of situations that I don't get to be a part of. The way that I've always lived my life, even before I got into the relationship that I'm in currently, with the wonderful Flannery Pajamas. For those of you who don't know, look us up. I've always had this idea that honesty is more important than fidelity. So I don't believe that I'm ever going to be the only person somebody is romantically or sexually attracted to. So if a situation comes up, I just want somebody to be honest with me. I want them to tell me that there's something missing in our relationship, or that there's something that they need, and I want to be consulted. When I get into a relationship, I don't necessarily consider the relationship that we're in an open relationship, in that they can just go about their business, because we do have a commitment to each other, but that I want to be involved in any conversations or any decisions that are made that result in emotional or sexual interactions with other individuals. So it's worked for me so far. In most situations, people who, let's just say, cheat in a monogamous relationship, when you agree that you're in a monogamous relationship and you step out of that relationship, if you consider that cheating, I think that in most cases, if people were able to express that there's an issue, or express that there's something that they need, that we would have far more honest relationships. Because I feel like there's just this time window of when you get comfortable with each other, and you kind of lose a small amount of that initial spark, that you're obviously going to be looking at other people. I look at other people, he looks at other people. It doesn't mean that I'm constantly stepping out and like going after that, but you need to have a conversation about it. The scenario that I always bring up is because there are certain things that I can't fulfill. Like if a partner came to me and said, I would really like to know what it's like to have sex with a woman, or a biological, or a vagina, in this case, that's not something that I personally can supply, or that I can personally give to my partner, but I can be a part of the conversation. Elise, what do you think? Have you ever put much thought into it?
When I first started dating people at the age of 18, it was immediately a polyamorous situation, or like that's the outlook and the agreement that we had, although it was never acted upon, but just like that sense of freedom existed. And then I had another monogamous relationship that then went to open, and then the relationship I'm currently in is monogamous, and I'm happy with that situation. So for me, I'm totally open, and I love people to like explore and be curious. And ultimately, I think that like if you're going to love anything, then that's awesome, no matter what form it is. For me, polyamory is more idealistic than realistic.
And Chris, I think you're the only one who we haven't actually asked specifically about your relationship history. Has been like, obviously you can tell me to butt out of your life.
So I'm monogamous, and I'm full-fledged through and through, but love that people can find a way to express themselves in a relationship. my parents are still happily married to this day, and they are a shining example of who you want to be as a human being. They love and care for anyone that walks through their doors. I know Keshia can speak the truth of my parents' love for my world and themselves and each other. And so growing up, all I wanted to do was find my human. And I know I did, because I married him this summer.
Congratulations, by the way. I saw the pictures. They're adorable. So, it's shiny.
Everybody.
Hold it up closer.
Oh, we were all there.
Yeah.
We were all there in that picture. Yeah, no, I know that you married your husband, correct?
Yeah.
Is anybody else here like in a committed, like married relationship? You are. Yeah, Kerri, you're in a married relationship. Yeah.
So I was adamant about not being married for a third time because I was feeling that that would be pretty humiliating on some level, as if I had not accomplished my relationships or I had not been successful. And I really look at it now as like that was my path. And my partner and I, we were actually together. We didn't get married until 11 years into our relationship. So we've only been married a year and a bit. And it wasn't important to me until it became important to me. I wanted people to know that I was his wife. Prior to that, it was like, well, you know, I don't really need to because we're in a committed relationship. And so I just love that my frame of reference has become that, like, every step in my life has been purposeful and meaningful, and I don't judge. Because my second marriage, if I didn't have that experience, I don't think I would have demanded and required the level of awesomeness that I have now. Right? You kind of have to go sometimes to the bottom. That was my experience. Like, this is what, hell no, this is what I don't want, to then attract someone when I felt that I was worthy of attracting someone amazing, then I did.
Yeah, I'm actually getting married this coming August. I was supposed to be married to my my partner last August, but as we know, that did not happen. Everything was in place, and the priest called and said, I have a feeling that this is probably not going to work. And then the venue called and said, we're closing and we don't know if we're going to ever reopen. So no deposits. Everybody has been very nice in that they've pushed forward their deposits. But I'm not sure if they're going to be so nice to do it for another year. We'll have to see. I don't even know when I'm going to be able to reach out to anybody. So, Nicole, or anybody else, what's your view on marriage?
I'm definitely pro-marriage.
Pro-marriage.
Always wanted to be married since I was a little girl and have a baby or two. So yeah, definitely pro that.
And Elise, are you pro gay marriage? I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Are you pro?
I'm pro marriage. I think I would like to be married one day, but I'm not like convinced.
Sorry, not to interrupt. What do you think marriage means to you? I think that's a much more pointed question.
What, just like being committed to each other forever and like a really earnest and sincere.
And you believe that that's something that at some point you would be able to participate in?
I think so, but I'm not at a marriage stage right now in my life by any means. Once I feel that way, then yeah.
Oh, you don't want me to call your partner right now and be like, why aren't you asking her to marry? I think I ran into him once. Oh my God. P.S. Good for you. I don't think I have his phone number, so no worries. I'm not going to call.
Special guest. No, just kidding.
Keshia, do you have a different opinion, or are we all just going to have the same kind of view?
I'm very much pro marriage, but I don't feel that for myself quite yet in my life, because I don't feel I have anything to really bring to the table. Personally, like my parents, they've been happily married. It'll be 33 years just in December. They've been together for 35. It's something, like Chris, that you've always just kind of like looked at that and wanted that, and to see the hurdles that they've had to go through and still have the strong marriage and relationship and commitment that they have to each other. When I do want that for myself one day. Now I'm not ready. I'm definitely not.
For me, I guess for a long time I thought marriage was a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Without the paper, the commitment is still there. And I really think that to endure and be in a relationship that makes you unhappy just to say that you've been married for 40 years, 50 years or whatever, I think it's a renewed commitment. Like, do I really want to be with this person? And if you don't, to happily release them, because I think chosen misery is not something that I would want to participate in. And, I have friends that they've been together for 23 years, 2 men. They have separated. They did a Facebook announcement. They're amicably separating because they just realize that they have different goals in life. And rather than annihilating each other and not erasing the past 23 years, but saying, our relationship was a 23-year journey. I thank you. I'm grateful, and I'm moving on. And I think that is what like true commitment is about, is to be willing to release people when your feelings have changed, your priorities have changed or whatever, because I've witnessed when people just stuck it out because that's what their generation did. And it was really damaging for me to see that people, because I'm the black sheep of my family in a way with the marriage thing. Is I know that my family members talk about me like, oh, she's been married 3 times and are we going to her wedding again? Stuff like that. But you don't win a prize if you endure something, right? Like you don't get a medal or anything. So I just think it's important for people to recommit and choose to be together or not.
Good point. Absolutely. I think that's really the core of what I think commitment in general is. I think you hit it right on the head. Nicole, what are you passionate about? What are you nosy about for all of these people? Like what color is that lipstick? I'm just kidding.
Well, this is top secret, but no, I'll tell you. The color is what's called Tartiest by Tarte, because I'm a tart. Anyway.
Tartiest, that's the name of the brand?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. When it comes to, I'm going to call it heteronormative if nobody else has a better descriptive of that kind of timeline, where the expectation is that you fall in love and you get married and you have a baby and you have 2+ babies and you're married for your entire life and you die in each other's arms. Do you feel like we've gotten to the point within the community that we're actually now, that the expectation is that we're now going to start following that same?
I've always had the example of my parents that have done that and got married. They moved from Newfoundland to BC when they were 18 with nothing but the clothes on their back and what's in their suitcase. They came with nothing and they worked so hard. My husband and I have had many conversations about children, but we also know that we want to adopt, because we know that there's children out there in the world that don't have someone to love them and to care for them and be that person that's irrational about them, which is kind of how I reference my mother. She's been my cheerleader my entire life, and I've always known that I've had her in my corner no matter what. Even if I fell on my face or did exactly what she told me not to, I knew that she was there for me. So it's something that I want in my relationship, to do that for a child. It's something that I want to be a dad. I want to raise the next generation and hopefully make awesome members of society that also want to make impacts, or if they don't want to make impacts, just do whatever makes them happy.
So you don't necessarily feel like you're being directed in that way, but you're being able to now follow that narrative or follow that path. I actually think that even 10 years ago, seeing a same-sex couple walking down the street with a stroller, I mean, lesbians, maybe not so much, because I think a lot of people see that as like, even if they don't see them as in a relationship together, girlfriends, heterosexual girlfriends walk down the street together all the time with their babies. Male identifying, like gay men, pushing a stroller down the street 10, 20 years ago would have definitely like drawn some eyes, some little side eye. But even now, I mean, maybe it's just because I did live in Vancouver, and I think that the island is such an amazing place to be, that now, I mean, I don't even think that I would take a second glance. I don't know that very many people really would. I'm terrible at recognizing that anything about my relationship is not normal. Let's just say, in that for my entire life, I mean, walking down the street, holding somebody's hand, I don't think twice about it. Everybody else was, but it was never anything that I was like, oh shoot, I shouldn't do that. How do you see people walking down the street? Let's just start there.
I can go.
Yeah, Nicole.
So for me, I'm not sure what it is, but like before I was out, I think like when we first moved to Nanaimo, there was barely any Black people. So like a lot of people stare just by default. And so when I came out and was dating other women, I'm never sure if they're staring because they're seeing a Black person, or because they're seeing two girls together, or because
so
they're
beautiful.
seeing an interracial couple together. So it could be a number of things. So I just kind of like tune it out at this point. I don't pay mind to it, but the stares still happen. So I just don't know what of these things it could be about.
So you're still a little bit self-conscious in regard, you see those things, you see people looking, I'm sure it's just because you're insanely gorgeous. They're just like, no. How on earth did this goddess make it to Earth? My Lord.
We are unworthy. Unworthy.
Well, I'll speak to that. I think for me that I would like us to advance so that we're not seeing the heteronormative as the gold star. And so for me, or the path that, you know, the majority of people need to take. So when I see two women, or if I know quite a few people in, you know, poly relationships, I just want to see people who are joyful. I just want to see people who like laugh and have fun in the world and respect each other. And I mean, when I see two men walking down, you know, the road holding hands, it makes me so happy. It just makes me feel that there's so many more options. But I will say that I have two very close friends. They have been in relationship together for 43 years, two gay men. And we're actually putting out a documentary about them, hopefully in 2021, that most of the taping has been done. And they still don't hold hands in public. If they're out on the beach somewhere and they feel that they can sneak in a kiss if nobody's watching, but they told us, I mean, they're coming from a time where it was illegal to be homosexual, that they were not able to print their pictures, a simple thing, you know, at the photo shop, because you weren't allowed to show love and affection for your partner, you know, as a video, you know, as a photo processing plant or whatever. And so, you know, I see what they say and sort of how far we've come. And I know it makes them feel very joyful when they're able to mentor younger men or women who are part of LGBTQ, because it just gives them so much hope for the future. But I don't really care who anyone is dating, who they fall in love with. I just think the more options available and the more risk people take to become their authentic self, the more our young people see this, and we are opening up a completely different future for these people where like they will be in choice and they won't be fearful and they can be with who they love. And that's I hope that's not far off. I hope it comes to that before I'm not on the planet anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. They've been together for 40 years, over 40 years. I think it's adorable when anybody who's been in a relationship for that long, or like little like 7-year-old couples are like holding hands in the mall. It's like a Hallmark movie. I'm just like, the most adorable thing in the entire world. I mean, they very well could be like, you know, on the weekends, they're down at the dungeon, like hanging out with everybody. Yeah. But for me, in my mind, they're like 70. They've been together since like World War II, and they're just like high school sweethearts who still make out every day. Elise, but what is your experience of like seeing two people walking down the street or anything like that?
Experience of seeing two people walking down the street, let's just say they're holding hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not much. Sometimes if I do see like a same-sex couple, I'll like look a little bit more, but like I'm totally accepting of it. I just think it's like not as historically normalized. So as with anything that like is a bit different culturally speaking, we'll naturally like maybe give more attention to it. But yeah, I mean, like in other countries, there's like cultures where like men who are just friends, they'll hold hands and walk down the street. Like I think that's super beautiful. But I also just like love seeing people like love each other in public.
Love is love.
Like,
just
the more I see it, the better it is, in like whatever form it is. It's a much nicer thing to see than like violence, for example. So I'm just like,
I think it actually affects transgender people most. And that's actually really sad. Because society is okay with you being transgendered when you meet their specific expectation of what that gender is supposed to be. So I think a lot of the times transgender women are expected to pretty much look like a porn star. They're expected to have breast enhancement and facelift and blonde hair. They're supposed to have this hourglass figure. They're supposed to look like what society thinks is a woman. But honestly, most women walk around in the world wearing a t-shirt and shorts and sneakers. But when trans women are out in the world not meeting the expectation of what society thinks they're supposed to look like, they get a whole heck of a lot more lashback. You know, those women who walk into a female identified restroom wearing a t-shirt and shorts and sneakers and maybe a ball cap, like 90% of women out there, I'm just gonna be honest with you, women don't wear high heels and dresses and wear their hair in curls. And yes, when you're dressed up, you look great, but you shouldn't need to dress up to go to the mall or to go to the bathroom at the mall. You know, you should be able to be as comfortable as you possibly want to, you know? And that's just my personal opinion. What does everybody else think? How do you feel about where society is going?
Just wanted to share kind of like a perspective that I find a little bit frustrating, especially within the lesbian community, because there's I've come across a number of people, some of whom I love and care for very much, that don't understand the whole concept of somebody being trans or somebody wanting to use the bathroom like the rest of us women, and they just don't understand the whole thing. And try to explain to them, like, we're fighting for the same rights. They want to be themselves, just like you and I at some point, we wanted to be out there and be able to just live our normal lives. There's nothing wrong with that. Like society, there's at some point in life where like women wearing pants was like an outrage, So at this point, like, we're allowed to wear pants, but why can't other people wear pants? Like, why can't other people wear dresses? Like, it's not, like, it doesn't affect you personally, doesn't affect your ability to make a living or go home and eat whatever you want. It doesn't really affect you. Let somebody be happy and just live their life, and be just happy with your own. Like, it's not, I don't know, it just frustrates me when that happens. Yeah.
No, 100% agree. Anybody else have an opinion about this?
Well,
Okay, Rowling. I'm just kidding. Let's cut this.
I always have an opinion about everything. So okay, so here's what I think. I'm gonna speak to Chris directly. So I've been an educator for 25 years, and hopefully I won't get too teary-eyed here, but when someone like Chris is able to really show up authentically in the school system, and this was really not encouraged. I can tell you that same friends, the 43-year-old, that's 43 years of being together, they didn't tell people that they were gay because they didn't want to lose their jobs. And so today, you know, I've met transgender colleagues that are teachers that really had to play things down. But the really great thing is now, I know in BC, I'll just speak to BC, but we have policies and procedures in our school district that protect people's gender identity, their gender expression. And so if anybody had anything to say about what Chris was doing, he has a support like net for that, right? And when you don't have that, it really, you know, lots of people are teachers who don't let their students know that they're lesbian and they're married, and, you know, like, they don't bring their pictures to school. But what I wanted to thank Chris is, when you do that, though, the kids who have nobody else to identify with or nobody else to share their curiosities or maybe their questioning, because I don't really believe, like, most kids, I feel they have no idea who they're sexually attracted to until puberty. That's when the hormones come. Like, we can have a societal expectation about who we're supposed to like, and like, well, I'm going to get married to a girl, and or I'm going to get married to a boy, and this is the way it is. But, you know, gender, even little kids have, you know, a pretty good idea by the time of 5. But I also believe that gender and sexual orientation is fluid. So we need role models for kids to be able to say, you know what, well, maybe one day I'm going to be like Chris, and maybe I'm not gay, and maybe I am cisgender or whatever, but I really like the fact that, like, I could participate. What's the big fucking deal about putting on makeup? You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I mean, for me, gender is a moot point. I do ask people what their pronouns are, because I don't want to get into sticky situations. And like we said earlier, I don't want to be the person that contributes to someone's even worse day to tip them over to the edge, because we know that, you know, people who are transgender have a higher rate of suicidal ideation and completion, and we do not want to contribute to that. So, you know, I guess the last thing I would say is, I went into a classroom years ago, and the teacher was teaching in a gender neutral classroom. It was pretty much the first one I'd seen. And I remember when the kids have to draw a picture of themselves, put themselves in a bathing suit, and label their private parts. And I go around the classroom and I say, well, do you identify? I have a picture. It doesn't say girl or boy, but one's wearing a, you know, a top covering the breasts and one's not. And probably about 10 of the kids in the class, I said, well, do you identify as this person or this person? They're like this. I don't know. So they just left it. I'm like, well, do you want it? Do you think you have a penis? Do you think you have a vulva? Do you want to put genitals? Like, how do you want to describe your private parts? This is a sexual abuse prevention class, so it made sense. So yeah. And I guess my last rant is, I really want us to stop these gender reveal parties. That may be a whole nother topic, but it's like, people don't understand, like, all you're announcing to people is the fact that your child has a penis or a vulva. You don't even know that they are actually male or female biologically, because they could be intersex. So I kind of want us to, like, evolve and stop doing that nonsense. Rant over.
All right, so I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds to give us their last words. So if anybody has anything that they want to promote, to acknowledge, or leave us maybe with a motivational last word, this is your opportunity. Chris.
Somebody go.
Love the skin you're in. If it doesn't fit how you feel inside, reach out to the Nanaimo Pride Society or anyone that you feel comfortable sharing your truth.
And how do we reach out to you if we want to? What do you prefer? Facebook?
On the Nanaimo Pride Society. Hopefully I can drop a link or something right here. Hopefully.
All right, Nicole.
Well,
do you have any last words?
I was going through the same thing that Chris already did.
Well, but do it. And then I don't have to have all of mine.
But yes, I am also part of the Nanaimo Pride Society. I can be reached at vice-president@nanaimopride.ca. And of course, the links will be all over here. I guess I will leave you with one of my favorite motivational quote, which is, "In the middle of adversity lies opportunity." So I think like with this 2020 and COVID and I guess now 2021, it's been rough for everybody, and just trying to find those opportunities that make you smile, that make you happy, that kind of like makes the whole thing less intense.
Perfect, thank you. Kerri, I'm going to throw to you.
I guess, I mean, just to close for me, can we just do our best to build people up? You know, to see their innate talents, to come from a strengths-based approach and just go out of our way to make people feel good about themselves. It's not about gender. It's not about sexual orientation. It's not about, you know, your financial background or whatever. People are people, and let's just love each other and do our best to promote love. That's it.
And Elise, where can we find you? What are you doing? What do you want to leave us with?
I just would like to thank you, Jacqueline, for hosting this and leading us into really nice conversations that I think we could all learn and like continue these conversations with other people. And I'm a Pride.
Where can we find you?
In my apartment. No. You can find me at
socially distancing.
Pardon?
I said socially distancing in your apartment.
Yes.
Yeah, you can find me at www.eliseboulanger.com. It's my music website. And I don't know. I created a playlist for our community to help celebrate each other. It's called Nanaimo, and it's on Spotify, so you can hear the sounds of what makes up our community for those who have music online. So I think that's a way to celebrate each other. That's kind of what our conversation is about. And then I just encourage people to question their consumption, whether they need or want something because of climate change, to be conscious of that.
We should have talked about climate change.
Chit Chat too.
Yeah. We'll bring you back for climate change. And Keshia.
Yes. Me, hi.
You want to leave our audience with?
I just want to thank everybody for letting me be here today and let me have my thoughts and opinions shared here with everybody in this lovely little chit chat we've been having. And if I want to leave with any kind of words of advice, it's don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Don't be stubborn. And to just really just embrace who you are. Sorry. Embrace who you are as a person and to be proud. Never have any kind of shame towards yourself because it can seriously break you down. And if you ever needed anybody to talk to, I'm not a professional or anything, but I can be reached on Facebook. Just look for Keshia Malone with Beaner in quotations behind it because that's my nickname. And yeah, that's all I really want to leave it off with.
Well, thank you. Your voice has been amazing. Everybody's voices here are so important. I do want to thank Nanaimo Pride Society for allowing us to get together here and for putting this all together. I want to thank each and every one of my guests, Chris, Kerri, Nicole, Elise, and Keshia, for joining us here on our debut Chit Chat with Jackie. As well, I do want to let everyone know, if you want more content like this, just like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so that we get all that kind of fun stuff. And we'll see you next time for more fun with topics and conversations that affect the communities here in the Central Island. So until next time, I'm Jacqueline Hyde, whichever way it's going to go in here. The hashtag Fat Drag Queen, and your voice is important.
Perfect.
Pick whatever you want.
We did it.
Oh, we did it.